What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. I know I've been going for a while, but tell the truth, y'all missed me a little bit, though, didn't y'all? Maybe not some of y'all, but nah, man, I'm back. I'm back. I know it's been almost 3 weeks since I made a video. Just to let you know, all is well. All is well. I don't know, man. Honestly, I just didn't want to make no reselling content. As far as reselling, I'm good as far as my business and just the desire to resell. None of that has changed. In fact, up to this point, things have been going very, very well, man. Uh, we are in the beginning of the second quarter, and so first quarter was good. Oh, I should have wrote this down. Um, I want to say my first quarter gross sales. Oh man, I don't want to tell y'all nothing wrong. I should have wrote this down, but I know it's around like 73,000, but my total or my net profit is lower. So my net profit on that is going to be probably around like 20% or so, but that's because I spent a lot on inventory. And so my expenses were high for the first quarter. Now, going into the second quarter, those expenses will come down a little bit, but my net profit will go up to what it's usually. So that's kind of how I do it my first two quarters. So I expected it to be that way. Initially, I honestly thought that my net profit would be a little bit lower than that because I spent a lot on inventory, man. And so, but it ain't that bad. That's because, and also this last month, this in April's been really good as well. But there's just been a lot going on between the business, the kids, and things. Man, one of my kids was sick for the last week. They still really haven't told us what was wrong, but he's actually getting better. He had a fever for a whole week. They was throwing the swabs and everything. I don't know, man. I got another doctor's appointment to go to, but that's life stuff, right? And that's the good thing about reselling is that I've been able to take the time out to do the doctor's appointments while my wife she can go to work and I can kind of take care of that. And we kind of, I can work at night and then she can watch over any of the sick kids at nighttime. So it all worked out. But business wise, I have hired somebody. So my two bottlenecks and the thing that's been slowing me down has been uh, sorting and shipping. So this person only sorts for me as of right now. It's been hard to find because shipping is in the morning, and so it's been hard to find somebody who can do that morning slot. The sorting I can do anytime, but right now it's at night because they work in the morning. I just pay them $10 an hour. I pay them as a contractor, so I don't have to worry about doing all the stuff that comes along with making someone a paid employee. So they're just an independent contractor. $10 an hour. So my two bottlenecks: sorting, shipping. Problem is, I create another problem for myself. Well, not create, but exacerbate the shipping bottleneck because, of course, if I'm processing inventory faster and I'm putting it up, well, then what happens? I have more orders to ship out. So I kind of exacerbated that issue. It is what it is. My goal is to just continue because these are the two things that are going to help me. My whole plan of doing more FBA has kind of been derailed with Amazon's new fees going into place because I'm not selling. I got a bunch of different SKUs with some of these items, and some of them are only ones and twos and fives and tens, and I'm just not doing it. The margins are already kind of small, so I've been doing just as good doing FBM, so it's not that big a deal. But it does the problem I was looking to alleviate, which was the shipping and all of that. That's not going away now, so that's even worse. However, I think I got somebody in mind to help me out in the mornings, but we'll see how that go. Sorting is easy, right? A monkey could do that. You just you sort, you know. You put this over there, this shade there, that, whatever. Shipping is a little different. Of course, I create my own labels, but you just need somebody who can stay organized. So things is going. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. As soon as I can get somebody to help me ship in the mornings, I'll be doing a whole lot better. Plus, I have been telling you guys in videos prior to my last video that I had started another business. That has been, of course, there's always more expenses than you think initially. So I've been putting a lot of time into that and just trying to get that going. It hasn't picked up yet, but I haven't been marketing it as much yet because I'm still waiting to get a few things situated. So I haven't been aggressive in marketing. See how it goes once that happens. I know I've been seeing, I haven't been watching a lot of reseller content. And honestly, it's just the same stuff, man. I, here's the thing with eBay content. The majority of eBay content, I'm beyond that. And I'm not saying that like and to be like I'm not like a boastful type of person. I'm just saying it like because I know like when I stopped doing eBay as my primary platform, I was up to almost 3,000 listings, and I know quantity of listings is not necessarily an indicator of success. Okay, I get that, but my point is, I was up to almost 3,000 listings. My first year doing that with eBay, I did $150,000 in sales at this, and that was in like my early days. And while I only have about 200 active listings on eBay, I mean, just my reseller career at this point, I'm beyond honestly the majority of eBay content out there. There are very few eBayers besides like the tech and sports of the world and things and people like that who can tell me anything about eBay. Not saying that somebody can't mention something like that I can't learn from because there probably is. It's just, but when I look at the landscape of reselling content, especially specifically eBay, it's the same stuff. It's the same stuff, man. And there's nothing anybody's saying that addresses one, the goals that I have for either eBay or my reselling business overall, or two, that I don't know. Either I know it either doesn't work or it doesn't work for me. But it's like you see something, it's like, oh, that's cute. You know, it's like a lot of people still figuring this out. They're just coming to these conclusions. Um, and that's the one on the one end of the eBay content, but then on the other end of the spectrum, it's the negative stuff, and I'm about done with that stuff too. So I don't want to keep hearing about how many glitches eBay got. I really don't care. I don't want to keep hearing about the returns and this and that. It's the same stuff, man. The same stuff. Honestly, I don't know how y'all listen to some of these people over and over again. I really don't. I listen to a few people and that's it. I still listen to Scott Bearded Picker. I still listen to John. I still listen to. I actually like daily refinements content because even though I don't still know how he talks about eBay, but that's another thing. He does have some valuable things that he says, as far as I'm concerned. You can disagree with that, but I do listen to some of his videos. But in the eBay realm, I ain't trying to hear it. And then as far as the goals I have, I feel like the ones who are where I'm trying to get are really not making content. You know what I mean? Especially on the platforms. As far as Walmart though, I got two wholesale products that I started on that platform. One of them has been doing decent. The other one really hasn't gained traction yet. I haven't really put any money into ad spend on that one either. I'm still trying to figure out some things, but the first item is doing fairly decent. Fairly decent. I've had to run ads to get it some traction. I'm trying to see if I can get this second product to get traction really doing ad spend. I'm gonna see what happens, but they're not making me rich or nothing. But it's a start. It's a start. And that's kind of what I'm trying to do is add more of these wholesale products. It's been a lot. Oh my goodness. When I tell you it's a lot of work, man, to try to figure out the hit and the miss, and it's a lot of work to find a good wholesale product to get it going. To it's a learning curve, man. It's a learning curve. That's all I can say about that. But you got to keep going. I want my business to evolve into something that I don't have to continually work in and day out. And that's going to take some work. Also, my goals for what I want, I realized not recently, but I have realized that I can't do it myself. I really can't do it myself. And I got to solve for these issues in my business based on the model that I have. This ain't got nothing to do with anyone else's model and what they have going on, but based on the model that I have, I got to bring in some help, which is why I hired the one person to help me with the sorting, which is why I'm going to, I wish I can use the same person for shipping. But once I have both of those problems solved, sorting and shipping, that is going to explode my revenue in a lot of ways. And the price, $10 an hour, is a fair price. Like I tell people when I talk to them about it, it's look, this ain't like a job where I wouldn't. I'm not promoting this to people like it's something that they can sustain their lives. It's just a side hustle for you, something you can use to make some extra money, and that's kind of how I'm marketing that whole position. And maybe eventually it can turn into a job. I would love to find out one person that could come in and do everything for me. So that's the ultimate goal as far as that goes. The last thing I've been watching is everybody talking about eBay's, forcing people to pass on their discounts, their shipping discounts. I don't know. The way I look at that is I don't think it's eBay's business to do that. I really don't. I would say this: if a person's shipping is too high, I'm definitely for eBay suppressing that type of listing and not showing it. That's the seller's fault. They need to pay attention. And I know sometimes we make mistakes, so that's why it's your responsibility to check your listings. I don't think it's eBay's business to be giving a buyer our discount. Like, we have seller perks, there's buyer perks, I think, right? There might be. But if there is buyer perks, then that's for the buyer. And I wouldn't expect as a seller to receive a buyer's perk and vice versa. If there's things you're going to offer a seller to sell on your platform, then that should be exclusive to the seller. Yeah, you can go in there, you can change the flat rate. Yeah, you can go in there, you can make the dimensions and the weight a little bit higher so you can charge more. But that's not the point. I don't think you should have to do that. If you're offering me the discount, then it should be my discount to do with as I will. I don't think they should be doing that, man. And I've seen John's video. I've seen a couple other videos, and John made some really good points. He made some really good points. But in my opinion, I don't think it's eBay's place to be passing on seller discounts to buyers. A discount of any kind. It's the buyer. It should be up to the buyer whether or not they want to pass on that discount. And as far as eBay trying to entice buyers to purchase more, all right, you already showing other sellers listings on on sellers' listings. You're already pretty much doing everything you can to, I don't want to say chase away buyers, but to make it more difficult for new buyers to come in. The way to bring in new buyers is not to keep pissing off sellers. But look, I don't want to go into this. All I want to say about that is I don't think it's eBay's place to offer our discounts to buyers. Now, seems like that's what they're going to be doing, so it is what it is. There's ways around it, so I guess we just got to find a way around it. I think that the landscape of reselling overall is there's been a lot of changes, y'all, in just this year, but especially from last year to this year, there's been a lot of changes. I know even for me in just buying inventory, things have gotten better. I've been able to get a lot better quality inventory. I've been able to get a lot more of it. And even pallets, the price for pallets have gone down. The price is reasonable. When I calculate the price of the pallets that I purchase with shipping, my cost of goods is still very low. Very, very low. But the landscape of reselling overall, with the fees, with the changes that platforms are making, the competition, I think that as a seller, you have to constantly be evolving, constantly be evaluating your business, and you can't let the small things get to you too much. Look, I had somebody put in a return for a $200 item, and they said that they changed their mind. Uh, Whatever. I just looked at. I get my returns from Walmart. I don't go through them all until I get like a huge stack of them. And Walmart is still my number one return place. But I opened the return. It's three items, and I'm pretty sure that this order was like a 20 something dollar order, which not a huge order, but all the items were totally destroyed. Now, mind you, I don't know if the seller did this or not, or not the seller. I don't know if the buyer did this or not. All I know is when I shipped these items, they were wrapped up in bubble wrap, put in a box, and the whole bubble wrapped item was surrounded by packing peanuts because I know this is a fragile item. So I know there's no way that this item was destroyed. Well, I can't say 100% no way, but it's very unlikely that this item was destroyed in transit to the buyer. But that's how I got it back. It's unsellable. It's totally destroyed. And I don't know who destroyed it, where it got destroyed. So I really can't do a dispute um, through Walmart because who's to say what happened, right? My point in bringing this up is that these things happen. I know that sellers buy stuff from other sellers on purpose to get them off of listings, to do other things and shiesty shit. I know I've had these things happen. My philosophy, my philosophy when it comes to reselling and when it comes to the challenges and when it comes to dealing with returns and other sellers and platform changes, here's what I always tell myself: keep going. Just two words, man. Keep going. I This has helped me so much emotionally. Man, it has helped me so much. Keep going. A $200 return, just keep going. Damaged items return, just keep going. Platform fee increase, just keep going. Can't let yourself be distracted with these things, guys. You can't let yourself be distracted with eBay's passing on these, whatever. Just keep going. Oh, this is where I found my success to come from, man. Keep going. Figure out a way. Figure out a way around it, over it, under it, through it, whatever you got to do. Figure out a way. But it requires you to have to constantly be adapting to the environment. And a lot of people can't do that. Some of y'all are rigid, very rigid. And if you're not pliable, if you're not easily able, like Bruce Lee said, man, be like water. Be like water. I love that. Be like water. You have to be flexible and you have to have a short term memory, very short term memory loss. Honestly, like your short term memory when it comes to a lot of these issues should be bad. When it comes, like, just forget it. Just forget it. Like, oh, that happened. I forgot. I forgot all about that. I moved on from that. I think that's key to success in reselling, in anything in life, honestly, in anything. But I'm just making this as it pertains to reselling. It's very key that you have a very short term memory when it comes to these issues and challenges. Learn the lessons that you got to learn, but do not allow yourself to dwell on these problems and on these issues. Look, I am looking to have a very, very good year this year, but it's been a lot of hard work. There's been a lot of challenges, not just with reselling, but with my own family. And these things can come and for some reason, at times they come in bunches, man. They come in bunches. It's like, and they all hit you at once from every angle. And I don't know about you, but for me, sometimes You have to fight the urge because you want to freak out, right? You get anxious and there's just this urge to like freak out and it's just so much. But you got to take it one step at a time, one issue at a time. And the main thing is to keep everything in perspective. It is very hard to find a solution to a problem when you don't have the proper perspective, especially if your perspective is one of those like disaster, end of the world type of perspectives. You have to keep it in perspective and you have to be able to focus, or you will find it very difficult to find very real practical solutions that's going to allow you to be continue to be successful. Look, guys, if you want to grow, you got to grow past. I'm sorry, man, but you got to stop watching some of this content on YouTube. There's just so much other content out there, not just reseller related, but business related. And you have to change your mindset. You have to be, as an individual, constantly growing and adjusting and adapting. And I'm not saying that you have to change your model, but within your business model, there are going to be a lot of changes that have to take place. Okay. Just because a certain model might not be working for you as you're doing it, doesn't mean that you have to change that model. Maybe there's some things you can tweak. Maybe there's some system issues. Maybe there's something going on. One thing I'm really starting to cement with me is that I am really good at selling health and beauty and electronics and things like that. I'm really good at it and I like it. I really like it. I love it, man. Cosmetics, and I know it might sound weird, right? Because I'm a guy and I'm a huge dude, but for some reason, I'm really good at it. Makeup, health and beauty, electronics, that type of stuff. And for whatever reason, when I go outside of that, I just it's just not as good for me, man. It really doesn't work out as well. It don't. And I've done it over and over and over again, only to come back to the same conclusion. Dude, what are you doing? Just stick to the script, stick to what works. And the more I stick to what works, the more I start to really be able to find solutions to problems. And but it explodes my revenue when I stick to it. You know, when I focus, when I keep the main thing. And sometimes I say to myself, oh, well, I'm gonna try this so I can have this as an option. But you know what? Sometimes you don't need the option till you need the option, if that makes sense. I feel like we go to create these so-called options and we only distract from what's working, and it hurts our business. It hurts our business. And so for me, I'm kind of just going to stick with what works and stop venturing out into other things just for the sake of venturing out into other things, because I'm really good at those categories, sourcing for those categories, selling items in those categories, moving it, and it just works. It just works, man. It's probably more work than some other categories, but I can scale it. I've been scaling it. I've been generating a good amount of revenue with it. And whenever I distract myself with other stuff, it just doesn't work out as much, man. It really doesn't. So it's kind of where I'm at. But that I'm saying that to you to say, don't try to do what everybody else is doing. Focus on what you like to do, what you're good at, and even if it's harder than the next person, even if your margins per item are not as high, but you're good at it and and you like doing it, focus on that and you'll learn how to source, how to create systems that make your job easier. And even if you have to sell more units than the next person to make the same amount of revenue, you, you'll end up passing a person because you're going to figure out how to streamline your business better, right? You're going to figure out how to work smarter and not harder. That's what I'm finding, man. But, I thought I'd just come on and say that, guys. Look, I took a break, but I'm back. I'm back in full effect. And I will be making more videos more consistently. I just had to focus on, my business and my family life and deal with those things. But appreciate you guys joining me. Make sure you check me out in the next one. Subscribe to the channel if you are not subscribed. Hit that like button for me, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.